Welcome to this week's episode of Cooking with Connie. Well, this is going to be a special edition because we just got back from vacation and we went to the Bahamas and Nassau. We did a great shore excursion, and Ollie was a great tour guide for this. So we did a taste of Nassau and we went around Nassau. We tried some different things. Well, the first thing we did was rum cake. Well, as you know, I couldn't eat the rum cake because it wasn't gluten-free. So today we are creating our own gluten-free rum cake. And it will be sugar-free except for the rum that I'm going to be using. I don't know how you make rum without the sugar. But anyway, otherwise we're going to decrease the sugar in it. We're going to make it gluten-free and it is going to be yummy. We're doing a Pina Colada rum cake. So this is John Watling rum that came from Nassau. And I brought it back in my luggage, and yes, it is legal, so I did not get in any trouble bringing this back with me. And this is all done by hand at this distillery, so it's, there's no automation at all, and the only place you can buy it is at the distillery. So not anybody else is going to have this sitting around on their shelf, but we do, and that's what we're going to use today for this delicious rum cake. So we're going to get started, and I have already measured out my Connie's baking mix, for those of you who are familiar with that, and hopefully soon we'll have that back in stock at the bargain center. In my pan here, I've got my butt pan because that's what we're going to use. I have melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I have used my monk fruit allulose golden to sprinkle on the bottom of that. It was a half a cup of the brown sugar type thing, and then I've got a cup of crushed pineapple that I have that I put in there. So in my mixer over here, there's a lot going on with this recipe. I have a cup of the golden and a cup of the regular monk fruit allulose with a cup of my butter, and we're going to get that started mixing. See if I can do this without killing myself, because I always have a tendency to have the bowl start flying off on me. All right, so we're going to be mixing this up for about 5 minutes. All right, so while that is mixing, I've also measured out the Connie's baking mix. And then I've got my baking soda, my baking powder, a little bit of nutmeg in there, and salt. So that's going to be ready to combine in there. I have my eggs over here, so I have them whipped up with a little bit of vanilla. So that's 3 whole eggs, 2 egg yolks. So they're going to be ready once we get this butter consistency to add to that. I've also got some coconut milk here. Love this. Oh, anyway. The Thailand, coconut milk, because it's only 2 ingredients. So this is the one that I really like to use when I'm cooking. So it's a real simple one, doesn't have all the other garbage in it. So we'll be using that in there. And everything is just going to kind of be mixed together. The interesting thing about the rum cake is we're going to be making a syrup that's going to go kind of down into the rum cake with the rum. And then we're also going to be making like a glaze with the rum. So there's actually not any rum in my rum cake part until we start putting all the rest of the stuff together. So we'll take just a short break while we keep this mixed up and get it to the right consistency, and then we'll come back and start adding the rest of the ingredients together. Okay, so I've got a nice light fluffy butter and sugar consistency, and then I'm going to pour my eggs into this. Kind of incorporated there. Then we'll start adding some of our flour mixture in there. This has got our flour and our leavenings in it. We're also going to kind of alternate between the flour and then put in some of our coconut milk with it. And I'm going to stop this for a second if I can get this going in the right direction. There we go. And pour the rest of this flour in there. That way it's easier than trying to do it when it's going. everything is all mixed together good. It looks like a really good, this is going to be a thick cake batter. So it's kind of like when you're making like a pound cake or anything like that. You got a thicker batter than the one that's pours like when you're making a traditional cake. So it's a denser cake that you're going to get out of this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to pour this into our bundt pan here. I've got the oven preheated at 350 degrees. And we'll pop that in there and bake it for about 35-40 minutes until it's done. So we'll be back when that gets done and we'll show you some of the next steps. All right, guys, we have taken it out of the oven. It took about 35 minutes to get to this point, which was good. And then we've made up what we call rum syrup. So we've taken our coconut milk, our monk fruit allulose, and then after we get that dissolved over heat, then we add a half a cup of the rum in it. So I poked holes in the cake so that this is going to absorb really well into it, and I've poured 3/4 of the mixture over it. We're going to let this cool, then we're going to take it out of the pan and we're going to pour the rest of it over the top of it. And remember, on the bottom of this we have that nice brown sugar, butter, and pineapple on the top of this. So when we invert this, it's going to have a lot of yummy goodness on the top. And then we're going to make a coconut rum glaze to finish this off. And we'll do that by combining butter, cream, salt, and then our monk fruit allulose instead of sugar. And then we put just a little bit of rum in that mixture. And then once it cools, we add some of our toasted coconut, and that's going to go on top of this. Now, according to this, the longer it sets, the better that rum flavor is going to be. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to let it set that long because we'll have to try a little bit of it today just so we can give you a result. But we'll be back once this kind of gets cooled up and we get ready to make the rum, coconut rum glaze for it. So see you in a little bit. Okay, guys, here is the finished product, our Pina Colada rum cake, gluten-free, very low sugar. So the only sugar that we've really got in this is the sugar that's actually with the rum. We did use rum that came straight back from Nassau. Only place you can get it is at the distillery in Nassau. So this is a really special product. Now, they say that actually setting this up overnight, so if you're going to make a rum cake, maybe make it the day before. But I think this one has turned out beautifully. We finished it off by making a coconut rum glaze. That's what's on top here. So you have your coconut, you have your pineapple, brown sugar, butter. I mean, I don't know how you can go wrong with this. So we just cooked the 4 tablespoons of the butter with a heavy cream, our monk fruit allulose, the golden brown sugar version of it. Cooked that up, brought it to a boil, put in a tablespoon of coconut or our rum, and then a half a cup of toasted coconut. And to toast coconut, it's pretty simple. Just put your coconut on a cookie sheet, 300 degrees, pop it in the oven about 10 minutes. 5 minutes in, you want to kind of turn it a little bit so it does brown evenly. So that's this week's Cookie with Connie for all of the gluten-free, sugar-free creations that we're going to continue to make. If you have an idea for us, send it to us. We're happy to give it a try. But this one came back from Nassau with us, and we hope you enjoy it. So make good choices this week.